What is going on, Kansas City? This is Dan Smith.
This is Sharon Thompson
of the Porterhouse KC, and yeah, we're here. It's a different time right now. It's afternoon, early afternoon on a Thursday. So what are we doing live early afternoon on a Thursday? Well, I am going to tell you, we are here for the City of Kansas City's Innovate KC Startup in Residence Demo Day. So we're excited about that.
Oh,
what
yeah.
You think,
Most definitely. I'm ready to hear what's going on. I'm ready to hear what's going on. These demos, it's going to be amazing. So tune in.
So you see who we have in front of. So we're doing a picture-in-picture thing. You see us in the top left, right corner, wherever you at. But in front of us, we have Miss Nia Richardson of the City of Kansas City. How you doing, Nia?
Hey, thank you guys for picking up the phone and taking on this challenge.
Absolutely.
No problem.
Absolutely.
So excited to be here with you guys today. I'm in partnership with the Porterhouse Kansas City, City Innovate, as we present to you this very special presentation, which is pretty much a demo day event featured a couple of our startups and residents, Qwally and Emgage. Today, we're going to present to you Civic Innovation and COVID-19 for Kansas City small and minority businesses. This is going to pretty much feature some of the things that we've been working on in COVID-19, before COVID-19, and really COVID-19 kind of heightened it and helped us to really get some things going. And so today, we're going to talk to you about some of the things that we've been doing to support our small businesses here in Kansas City. After what we're going to do today, what you can expect, each startup is going to get about 10 to 15 minutes to do a quick demo presentation, and then there will be a Q&A opportunity at the end. Let me first start out by saying I'm Nia Richardson, for those who don't know. We've got a lot of people tuning in from other cities. I'm Nia Richardson. I'm with the City of Kansas City. I'm the Assistant to the Director for Small Business and Entrepreneurship. I run our KC BizCare office, which provides free technical assistance for business registration, permitting, and licensing with the City of Kansas City. You're going to learn a lot more about what we do in KC BizCare a little bit later. But we want to first start out by showing you how we got to where we are through our Innovate KC program in partnership with City Innovate. So first, I want to bring to the stage our partner, City Innovate, to really tell you about the Startup and Residency program and how it's helping other cities across the country as well.
Thank you, Nia. And I will just share my screen. Please let me know if everybody sees my screen. I'm assuming you all see my screen.
Good to go.
Good to go. Thank you so much. And thank you, Nia, for a great introduction. And thank you also for KC Biz inviting us here. It's been a fun journey for the past year, working with a lot of these great innovators and working with Nia and team. So we're thankful for them for joining the program. So I only have, I guess, 10 minutes. I've been given my cue that I've got to make sure that whenever I say the word Kansas, I end it with the word city. So I'm going to make sure that I do not do that. So I'll get started very quickly. So I'm Cameron Sadiq. I'm the co-CEO at City Innovate. I'm one of the founders at City Innovate, and we've been around for about 7 years. We're headquartered in San Francisco. We started off as a foundation. We then moved to a public benefit corporation. Our goal really is building technology for public good. And, really the work that we've been doing around that is really engaging innovators and helping solve problems that our communities face. So we utilize something called challenge-based procurement, which I'll talk a bit about, which came from the Obama administration, funnily enough, at OSTP. And it's been, utilized as a way in bringing young companies to the table and helping solve challenges by navigating what we all know as procurement, which is painful at best. We've also been very lucky that we've had this program called Startup in Residence, as Nia was pointing out, funded twice by the Department of Commerce, which is it's the first that they've ever done. And their goal was to take, this program that started in the city and county of San Francisco from one city. We're now at 40 city, counties, and states across the US. And we recently got funding from National Science Foundation to create a sister program that how do we bring academia, specifically researchers, in helping solve some of these community problems. So that's a bit about City Innovate and who we are very briefly, and this program STiR and STiR Labs, which I'll spend more time on. So I'll talk a bit about our government needs in specifically Kansas when they came to us. I'll give a quick overview of the STiR program and challenge-based procurement and how we're scaling it. And then we'll give you a couple of examples, but you're going to probably hear a lot more from Qwally as well as Harut on Emgage and the work that they're doing with Kansas City. So I'll leave it to them, but I'll talk more about the program and the process. So these are the things that we hear a lot from our governments, and and this is something that it's funny because you can see here it's painful for governments to build these procurements, but at the same time, it's also painful for them because they're not getting enough vendors responding. And then, on the other flip side, you've got vendors saying, hey, I struggle in trying to get my response in because it's so complicated in getting there. So what you find is that this whole process really takes out young, small businesses, specifically innovators, of course, disabled veteran businesses as well as minority and women-owned businesses. And I'll sort of explain how, we're very proud of the fact that this program over the last 7 years now, 65% of our innovators are either women or minority-owned businesses. So we're very proud of the fact that we've found a way of unlocking that opportunity for young businesses. Just to give you an idea, here's a STiR program just at a very high level. And really the goal that we play here is, number one is the capacity building side, which is how do we do challenge-based procurement? Not only do we sort of walk hand in hand with cities and coach them on that, but we also then work with young innovators. So in this case, young KC innovators, on how do we sort of walk through the process of not only applying for a challenge, but also then walking through this intensive program where you're actually showing your software. It's what we hear is that, a lot of times, a lot of folks don't want to work with young innovators because of risk. Will they be around next year? Will they be around in 2 years? Will they blow up while we're doing a proof of concept over that 8 to 12 week period? And one thing we're sort of not only coaching them, but also cities that, one thing that they're interested in is getting contracts. And those contracts allow them to then grow the company. And, Qwally will sort of share with you, they've just been a great example for us in working, in the early days of the program with Mobile, Alabama, and now they're working with Kansas City. And they've been growing, well over the last few years. So, that's a good outcome in watching these innovators grow. And what you're really bringing to the table is these higher quality solutions, because what you find with young innovators is they're more nimble. They're willing to work a little harder in making sure that their customers are happy, as opposed to a bigger organization. Not to say that they don't, deeply care about their customers, but they're not as nimble. Sometimes, being a big organization takes a long time for you to turn around and get, software updates out there. And so what we're finding is that there's this lasting change, where, CIOs, whether information, innovation officers and teams that have gone through this approach are finding that, hey, we're not only are we engaging our community and helping solve issues, but we're going through this in a lot faster time. It's sort of saving us on the capacity side, but it's also giving us better solutions. Just to give you an idea, as I mentioned now, and we're over 40 plus governments. Actually, that number is now close to 60. We're working not only with institutions like NIGP that oversee procurement for cities and counties, working with big states, and I'll talk about some of the work we're even doing with the state of California. But we're wide. We're on the West Coast, East Coast. We're in the middle of the country, Kansas City, as I mentioned earlier, as well, in Mobile, Alabama, and other places too. One thing I did want to spend a little bit of time, as Nia, I'm sure I've got only 3-4 more minutes, and I'll be very quick, but I do want to spend a few minutes on challenge-based procurement. It's something that we deeply care about this. It's something that we're looking at with the Biden administration and putting in place in the infrastructure bill that, if we are going out there and we're going to rebuild our cities, counties, and states, how do we buy things quickly? How do we not wait around for 15, 20 years and putting procurements together and then isolating or, unintentionally not allowing our young innovators to come and have a seat in that space? So we're spending a lot of time, a lot of effort in this space. And basically, if you think about challenge-based procurement, it's a type of request for proposal. And so what we're really doing here, the main difference that if I can sort of take away from this presentation and sort of inform you folks, is that we really encourage our governments Don't spend months or years working with consultants, building detail level requirements. Governments are really good in telling you what the problem that they have in front of them, and then what outcomes they want to achieve. Let the innovators and come in and respond and tell you how they will resolve your problem and get to your outcome. So what you're going to find is, instead of two vendors who have gamed the system, who know how to respond to those detail level requirements, no young innovator is going to be able to hit those requirements, either be FedRAMP compliant or be on AWS GovCloud. Maybe some, maybe most won't. That let's be very high level, have very high level requirements, but don't go into the detail level requirements. Let's focus on problems, and let's focus on the outcomes that the city is looking at. So now you're getting more vendors where it's not a bigger barrier for them to respond to these challenges. A lot of these vendors will be able to do business in Kansas City, so they'll hit the admin requirements, but where they get stuck is those detail level requirements. So the benefits: shorter procurement timeline. We're really focusing on the outcomes against the requirements, as I was pointing out. And then really what we're doing is we're saying, hey, we're going to help develop that solution, and we're going to do it side by side. So the award now is based on outcomes and performance. And the risk, as I mentioned earlier, for cities is that, look, why don't you spend 12 weeks, 16 weeks getting to know folks, whether it's Emgage, whether it's in Qwally or other young KC innovators that might be out there. It gives you the ability to work with these folks. So this is a bit of the process. I mean, for STiR, we sort of, Kansas City, when, they had a couple of, more than a couple of challenges that were out there. They post a challenge. It takes innovators less than an hour to respond. They then go through an evaluation period of evaluating vendors. And then once they've evaluated and decided to move forward with an innovator, they go through a 16-week demonstration period where they really get to know them. They get to sort of, solve some of those high-level requirements that I was talking about. They then evaluate them. And if everything goes well with that evaluation, they get to that contract. And it's nothing, it's not complicated. A lot of it is capacity building, hand-holding, and working with procurement folks to sort of see that it's not difficult in streamlining that procurement. Just to give you an idea, and it's sort of where I'm going to end here now, so I don't monopolize the time here, but just to give you an idea, our governor in California, on his second day in office, he passed an executive order around our work. With wildfires, and everything that you hear in the news these days, that there's got to be a better way of engaging innovators in coming in and helping solutions. So California has a $7 billion spend on technology. We're happy to sort of, and we'll announce this probably in a week's time, that we've now done $1 billion of challenge-based procurement with the state of California in the last year alone. Our largest procurement is about $500 million, which we're doing right now. Again, very quiet, but we're excited about this momentum as we take it to the Biden administration, that whether it's for $10,000 or whether it's for $500 million, this is an approach that's going to, obviously, that we believe is here to stay and hopefully open a lot more doors to our innovators. So examples, there's no real examples. You're going to hear about them today. I didn't want to take away from, like I said, Qwally or Emgage and NIA. There's going to be a lot of great discussions and panels that are happening. So those are going to be the examples of challenge-based procurement in government, specifically in Kansas City. And that's my cue to say this is where it ends. So thank you very much for listening, and thank you, NIA and Kansas City, for being great participants, and Qwally and Emgage too.
Awesome, Cameron. Thank you. That was a lot of a wealth of information, and I know that all our listeners and the folks that are watching, we see a lot of people tapped in right now. We got a lot of familiar names: Katina, Kira, Deanna, Shantae, Kevin. All are showing love. We got Kimberly Bush that's tapped in from Wichita, Kansas. Just wanted to acknowledge some of the folks. Margaret's Place is watching, and that is awesome. So appreciate you, Cameron, again. Nia, any last thoughts or parting thoughts for Cameron or
Cameron,
words?
First of all, we practice this so much, so good job in Kansas City. I gave him the whole speech about saying Kansas and understanding that you're in Missouri and how people react. We do want people to stay tuned in. So good job. You came through with it. And I appreciate you being one of our partners here today and helping me build the program with the city of Kansas City. So thank you so much for that.
No, thank you, Nia, for welcoming us. And yeah, we're super excited to work with you and your leadership at KC BizCare. So it's been a fun ride. So thank you, Nia.
Absolutely. And so, can everyone hear me better now? You good, Jan? You're good on the microphone?
It sounds good to me, but let's everybody that's watching, if you can tap in, let us know how Nia sounds right now. If you can get a thumbs up or something like that in the chat, that'd be great. Because we want to make sure that this thing is clear and concise.
Yeah,
Sounds
so,
good.
Yeah, so just in case you missed it before and my mic was a little bit low, again, we're going to feature 2 startups today, Qwally and Emgage. They're going to get about 10 to 15 minutes to go through their demo. And then there will be time for Q&A. So if you have questions, if you want to know a little bit more about something, drop it in the chat as we get a little bit closer to the end so we can see them. And Dan will pick them up, throw some questions at us for the Q&A portion, all right? So next up, we have Qwally. But first, before we get started with Qwally's demos, let me tell you a little bit about how Qwally came to be with the City of Kansas City. So as Cameron explained, when you do the startup and residency programs, departments will put out different challenges and startups will respond to it. So the KC BizCare office, we put out a challenge looking for a system that will really help us with the flow of how we do our work. Help us to really support businesses, creating a virtual one-stop shop, helping them with understanding the process and steps of what they needed to do for their business. But also on the back end, with me coming into the office, KC BizCare has been around since 2009. I've only been with the city just a little over 2 years. And one of the things I noticed when I came in was, hey, we are well positioned to grab a lot of data about our businesses in Kansas City. We share space with the business license office. We actually are the ones, you can think about BizCare as the ones who help you with all the prerequisites that you need in order to get a business license with the city of Kansas City. Knowing where to go with the state to get your business registered, getting your EIN, Missouri sales tax, what permits do you need with the city? So we act as your guide to really figure out where to go and what you need to do. And so we put this challenge out there. We interviewed a couple of different companies, and hands down, the team really loved what Qwally brought to the table. And so I'm going to let Qwally come to the stage, present their demo of what they were doing working with us, and then we'll have a Q&A time where we can talk more about that.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Nia. That's an amazing introduction, and it's been a really wonderful partnership for us. Can't say that enough. But before I turn it over to Chris to sort of detail our response to the challenge, I just wanted to provide a quick introduction to Qwally as an organization, tell you all a little bit about ourselves. So at Qwally, we provide a user-friendly platform that helps small businesses help cities support small businesses as they navigate municipal processes. We support them across a number of different programs, including inclusive procurement, small business support, licensing, permitting and zoning, and economic development. Next slide, please, Chris. And one thing that we really focus on is putting cities at the center of the entrepreneurial ecosystem and making those initial interactions with business owners and partners a lot more impactful. Next slide, please. So as a small business, as a startup, we're really driven by impact. We're always seeking opportunities to serve more businesses and more governments with our technology. And to do this, we rely on sort of 3 central tenets. We emphasize inclusive design. We focus on making the digital experience more accessible. We provide our flexible platform, which is configurable to program rules in your unique community. And we also deploy our experienced team. We provide a sort of a blend of skills that give us a holistic approach to problem solving. And to emphasize what Cameron brought up, we really focus on outcomes. And as an impact-driven company, challenge-based procurement really lets us put it all together in a way that other procurement opportunities don't. So as Cameron mentioned, we're proud alumni of the 2019 STiR program. We worked with the city of Mobile, Alabama to improve outcomes for minority women and veteran-owned small businesses and city contracts. And this was an amazing partnership, 4-month sort of challenge that turned into a multi-year contract, and really had the opportunity to work with the community, understand their needs, and really build a solution that was reflective of the folks that we wanted to serve. We really centered, equity inclusion throughout. As you all know, representation really matters. So we took great strides to make sure that the visual language, the actual content, and the look and feel of the site reflected the folks that we were looking to serve. As a result, small businesses were involved in every aspect of the process, from designing the actual platform, the look and feel of the platform, providing feedback. So it was really driven by the community. And our platform served to really connect the ecosystem. All the various folks, whether at SBA, SBDC, or the chamber, were all on one platform and receiving referrals from the city. And ultimately, while we enable compliance with procurement programs, we also really focus on supporting and building the entrepreneur. So they can get certified as a small business, but they can also grow their capacity as a business owner, so they're ready for that next opportunity. And so this partnership has let us really expand our impact in ways that we couldn't even foresee. Next slide, please, Chris. Yeah, in a very short period of time, we've already been able to help over 1,000 small businesses through our platform. In Mobile, it's been an amazing year. Minority small businesses are twice as likely to participate in city contracts now, which is incredible. And here in Kansas City, Nia and Angeline are both able to help almost 4 times as many businesses as they were in comparable timeframes. So it's just been tremendous for us as a emerging business to have this opportunity to really have the impact. And I'll turn it over to Chris now, and he'll give you a little bit of a better sense of how we help Kansas City sort of navigate this challenge.
Great. Thank you, Matt. And thank you, Nia, for an introduction. And I kind of want to take some time now to tell the story of sort of how our partnership with Nia and Angeline in the BizCare office sort of facilitated through STiR and Innovate KC, how that evolved and the twists and turns along the way, and how we ended up with the solution that we have right now. And at the end of that, we'll do a little bit of a demo as well. So when we started off and sort of came to Kansas City almost 14 months ago now, to sort of really delve into this question of sort of how do you start a business in Kansas City, and what are all the details and requirements and things that you have to know about to be able to do it properly, and and how does KC BizCare help? What is their role to play? So for us, sort of coming in to a challenge-based procurement, the first step is always just absorb and learn as much as possible. And so we go through a discovery process, lots of whiteboarding, lots of flow charts, just trying to understand, how do all the pieces of the puzzle fit together? And then we keep diving deeper. Before we even think about trying to sort of focus on the solution itself, we want to dive as deep as possible into the problem and understand at a really fundamental level about how does the KC BizCare office work and operate, and sort of how do businesses find out about BizCare? How do they go about getting help from BizCare? And we're trying to map out sort of what we call the user journey as businesses are getting help and support from BizCare. And all along the way, we're trying to understand, so where are the opportunities that technology could play a supporting role to help Nia and Angeline basically help more businesses be more efficient, more effective, sort of help those businesses succeed. And so we try to understand sort of what's the flow of information. Sort of what does BizCare need to know about a business to be able to start helping it? What information does BizCare need to communicate to businesses to help move them in the right direction? And we start, wireframing and drawing diagrams and sort of building towards an initial prototype or MVP that we could actually test with sort of actual small businesses and test in the BizCare office. Of course, we had a bit of a change of plans, as everybody did 12 months ago, and that really forced us to take a step back and think about what are we trying to do here, and how could how could we use this partnership to do something that's, of immediate need and really helpful in this, challenging times. So we immediately kind of shifted gears to really focus on sort of how can we better collect information from businesses about what do they need? What do they need right now? Is it PPE, or is it funding, or is it grants, or is it just information? And then this dual challenge of how can the BizCare office serve their clients without in-person appointments, which was a mainstay of the BizCare office. And so, we really thought about the ways that technology could improve things here. And Nia and a whole host of folks throughout the community developed a really great comprehensive survey targeted towards small and minority-owned businesses in Kansas City that we were able to host on our platform and distribute it out digitally, and got well over 200 responses back to a survey that had a lot of really great detailed information for the city and ecosystem partners to make decisions on. One interesting finding was that that businesses responding to the survey, if they had an existing relationship with a banker, they were 38% more likely to be approved for a loan or a grant program. But perhaps more importantly, they were seeking 8.3 times more capital. There was a huge access to capital issue here. And so I think Nia set to work figuring out, what could be done in this area to affect some change. And so that gave birth to the PPP Prep Kansas City program. So along with help from Simone and Kim at the Prospect Business Association and the Heartland Black Chamber, this program was developed such that business owners would be able to sort of apply and get help and pro bono accounting services to apply for their PPP loan. And since we already had a sort of platform ready to go, all the pieces were in place, we were able to facilitate and launch the PPP Prep program on the platform, including the application and all the sort of application handling within 10 days of finding out about this program. And so, to date, that launched in late January, and to date, I think over 100 businesses are, beginning to receive support through this program. So that's kind of just one example of sort of how that sort of quick, working with smaller companies that are a little bit more agile, as Cameron was mentioning earlier, can really sort of help cities and help their communities move more quickly. So, to date overall with the BizCare portal, this virtual one-stop shop, we're really excited. We did a full launch of it late in 2020. And to date, we've got over 1,000 businesses that have been helped through the platform. And that number will continue to grow. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So if you're playing along at home, you can go to bizcare.kcmo.gov and you'll see exactly what you're seeing here. So this is the virtual one-stop shop for doing business in Kansas City. The entire concept here is let's create one place where we can aggregate all the information related to sort of starting a business, doing business with the city, learning about sort of zoning and permitting, finding out about financial assistance or grant opportunities, sort of aggregate all that information in one place so it's easy for people to find and easy for people to navigate. And so like what Matt was mentioning earlier with the city of Mobile, we really focus on making this something that is simple, easy to use, easy to understand. We understand that these are complex processes that involve a lot of rules, but we really want to be able to sort of break things down and help people really quickly find the answers to their questions that they're coming with. So, anything having to do with procurement or business registration or taxation, we try to support and provide some information or some helpful external resources that folks can go to for that support. But let's dive into starting a business in Kansas City. That's probably the #1 use case that we're trying to optimize for, and really make it easy, reduce those barriers to entrepreneurship and starting a business. And so we really want to focus on sort of breaking down the process, giving folks an overview of here are all the steps you'll need to take before you apply for a city business license, and when you apply for a city business license, this is how you're going to want to do it. And just kind of everything written in plain English, explaining what are the different types of legal structures a business could have and things of that nature. But one thing that this site doesn't do on its own is there's still a lot of information here. It's not businesses are not one size fits all. So it's really important for people to get an understanding of sort of, well, what do I need to start my business? And that's where this Small Business Navigator comes in. So folks can come to the BizCare site and they can create a profile and answer a few questions about their business, and get a tailored, structured list of steps that they can take to start their business. So we'll ask things like, how is your business legally structured? Or maybe your business isn't structured yet, or you haven't started. What's the name of your business? Where is your business located? This is one of the most common issues, and something that I think is particularly tricky in Kansas City, where you have North Kansas City and Raytown and a lot of sort of cities within cities, but they're different. And so we spent a lot of time really making it easy for people to say where they are, since that'll definitely drive a lot of requirements for that business. And so once people sort of come through and they create their profile, we'll go one step further and we'll dive a little bit deeper, and ask a few more questions specifically about the business, more things that will drive certain requirements or other needs. So whether a business is home-based or has a commercial location, what the business does obviously has major bearing on what exactly it is. What category does the business fall into? Does the business sell, need a liquor license or things of that nature? Anything that would sort of add requirements, we want to identify that quickly and easily. So in just a few clicks and answering a few questions, we've given sort of KC BizCare and the BizCare portal sort of all the information it needs to sort of develop that curated checklist for the business. So it's just that easy. And then we can go and sort of dive into the profile and the checklist. So here's our a little bit of our profile. We can just see some of the answers that we provided. And here's our checklist. So, we'll need to file with the Secretary of State. We'll need to incorporate or maybe form a sole proprietorship or an LLC. We can, as we go along and we complete these tasks, like applying for an EIN number, we can just mark those as complete. And each one of these checklist steps is written so that it's giving, a concise explanation of kind of what is this thing, why do you need it, how do you go get it, and just walking businesses through each of these steps and giving them a way to track their progress, but also giving them a way to really quickly and easily ask for help. So at any time, if they get stuck on a step, perhaps not knowing which address to put down for a zoning clearance letter, you can just simply ask for help, and someone at BizCare will get an immediate notification that you need some assistance. So to that end, let's take a quick look at what BizCare sees on their side of the system. So they're handling, as we saw, sort of many requests, and it's really just Nia and Angeline working at the office and handling, dozens and dozens of these different new businesses starting up or wanting to do different things every day. And so here we can see Qwally just wants to start a business in Kansas City, and they require some assistance. So we can dive in and sort of better understand sort of what is the nature of the situation. So KC BizCare sort of gets a mirrored version of that checklist. They can see the progress that the business is making through the checklist, and they can also see what step that they're stuck on or they're requiring assistance with. So just as easily, they can sort of send a message to the client asking for clarification or suggesting maybe we talk on the phone, whatever's most necessary. And anytime BizCare is sending a message, it's going directly to the profile. Businesses can see it there, but they'll also get an email notification, and we're going to be incorporating text message notifications as well in the future. So sort of no wrong channel of communication, making it very easy to sort of reach and engage with businesses in across many modes of communication. And then for Nia and Angeline to be able to kind of coordinate and stay on top of all these different requests and all these businesses, and to be able to really efficiently handle that volume, making it really easy to let the other know, I've got this, I'm working on it. I've reached out to Chris and I'm helping him with his zoning clearance. And then, when the problem is resolved, just mark that as complete. And so a lot of the sort of detailed record keeping that was done on paper and sort of took a lot of time in the BizCare office before has been sort of abstracted away, and the platform does a lot of that heavy lifting right now. So Nia and Angeline are able to really just focus on doing what they do best, which is providing businesses with assistance and the support that they need. So with that, Dan, I think we can kind of transition to Q&A. And would love to answer any questions folks have.
So I want to leave your last slide up just in case anybody wants to screenshot the contact information from Matt and Chris. It is there, and there's Qwally's information. We'll leave it up for a couple more seconds for folks to see it. All right. That's it. No, we're back. We're back. So this is awesome, man. I do want to, as I bring Angeline on and then also James on, I want to mention before I definitely want some feedback from you, but what I think is awesome about this situation, I mean, obviously the platform is great, right? You guys did some great work. It's very easy, user-friendly. I love it. But in addition to that, these normally are not for public consumption. So when we share this information, it's normally like in a closed setting of some sort, some kind of back office room or a conference room or something like that. What I think is really awesome about this is the fact that Nia, the team, the KC BizCare team, Qwally, and everybody else that's a part of this demo day, we're live, right? We're pushing this out live to the public. This is for public consumption. You saw front end and back end. How awesome is that? So now you know, when you call KC BizCare, you know what Angeline is seeing on the back end, right? So I did this. You really didn't do this because you can look at it and say, nah, I did not. So don't call Angeline out or KC BizCare if you say you did something. I just want to go, all right, yeah, that's enough for me. What do you think?
So it's been awesome working with Qwally, and I'm hoping you guys can hear me a lot better now. We apologize for the technical difficulties. So it's been dope working with Qwally. It's been dope building out this system. It's been very rewarding as someone who's picking up the phone and calling these individuals every single day and following up with them and saying, hey, here's what you need. We get calls all the time. Is it just steps you can give me so I can just do this? Absolutely, we can do that for you. So for any entrepreneurs who are out there, or any of our ESOs, our Entrepreneur Support Organization partners, if you have someone, even you guys with Porterhouse KC and the cohorts that you guys produce, if you have someone who is looking to start a business in Kansas City, whether they are physically located in Kansas City or they are somewhere else and they want to do business in Kansas City, this is a tool and a site that they can utilize to get the steps that they need in order to get registered with the city, get registered in the state and the city, and get licensed with the city of Kansas City. That's our big goal. And I'll just jump real quick to the next steps with this before you get to Qwally and get to the Q&A. With this system now that we saw, how we can do a checklist for starting a business in Kansas City, what about doing business with the city, getting certified with the city? What if we had specialized checklists to say, hey, I want to do a food truck? Or we've seen a lot of people now baking from home. There are a lot of moms, women baking from home now. Cottage Food Law Act. What does that mean to your business? So we can now create and specialize all these different checklists for those who are starting businesses. And now for me, I'm a data person. Now I can begin to produce and overlap a load of data, the free data that we get from business license, the certified businesses, the intake that we do, the surveys that we do. Now we can give you a good picture of the state of small businesses in Kansas City, what they need, what their current conditions are, where they're going, if they're still alive as far as are they renewing their business licenses, things like that. And so I was really excited, not only for what this could do for our businesses, but also what this does for the office and how we operate. And it's given us so much more ability to work remotely. And so I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to let someone, Miss Angeline, who's been with the office since its inception. I'm still new, and I learned so much from her to give some feedback about how she enjoys this system or what challenges we had trying to build it.
Okay, I guess that's my introduction. Hello. So our KC BizCare office has 3 staff members now. We keep saying that. We have our marketing and community relations team. That's Rick and Nia. And then we have our office staff, our office team. That's me and Nia. So we got a little office, but we do big things. So what you've heard this already, but we consult with clients interested in starting a business. We make referrals to our resource partners. We explain and help customers understand how to navigate city government. I sent my first email out on December 22nd of 2020, directing a client to use our new KC BizCare virtual one-stop shop. And now our database has logged, they say, over 1,000. The exact number today was 1,014 requests. And that's in addition to our emails and phone calls from our other clients, but it would have been difficult to handle that kind of volume without this system. But most of all, I want to talk about working with the Qwally team. I was impressed by their demo to our office because they didn't try to sell us just a system they had already developed, something off their shelf. They said that they could tailor a system to our needs, and they did that. So they gathered information from us and turned it into this interactive system that really helps our small team handle this big volume. Now our clients can do the data entry that we had to do in the past. We used to all do that ourselves. We used to email out checklists to our clients with links to the licensing processes, but the new system does that for us, the KC BizCare one-stop shop, virtual one-stop shop. And we also meet weekly with the entire Qwally team every Wednesday. They sit and we talk about our issues and what we want to do and where we're headed. During one of the meetings while they were developing the PPP, and they do big things, I had some small issues that I wanted to discuss. And so I said, oh, no, just put mine on the back burner. We can handle them later. And they said, oh, no issue is too small. And they mean that. Each week they impress us with the modifications that we've discussed the prior week or the ones that we've emailed them during the week. They get right on our issues. I don't use a lot of technical language, but somehow they translate what I say and suggest into something more than I think it always. They developed a QR code for our office. They helped us share information about the initial COVID relief information, PPP prep, all of that. And so I just think that we're going to have to find some other words to describe the product they've produced for us, because we have already worn out, oh, this is great. Oh, this is beautiful. We got to come up with some more phrases. But they said they could do it, and they did it. They're a great team to work with.
Good.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we really, really good.
So before we get to this next piece and go into a Q&A, I know we brought James in as well. So James, definitely want to get your your thoughts. And then I guess to throw out a question, this is for the Qwally team as a whole. What has this project done for you guys as a startup, as a startup company? What do you think?
Yeah, this has been an amazing partnership for us. I think it's, I think Angeline was saying that, it's, we're giving BizCare a lot, but actually the way we look at it is, BizCare has given us a lot. Nia and Angeline have been so thoughtful in their feedback, and really, I think it's just we're firing on all cylinders as a group, as a team, because we're all just so focused on how do we help more businesses more effectively, faster, sooner, easier, better. How do and it's just such clear common alignment that I think kind of flows down perhaps from a lot of kind of the challenge-based procurement and that kind of as a matching process. But I think this has really advanced a lot of the sort of thoughts and ideas that we had, that we sort of started to develop with the city of Mobile. We'd sort of applied a lot of our thinking in sort of the procurement world and sort of helping folks navigate vendor registration or certifying their business. But, as Nia was saying earlier, there's a whole, other set of use cases out there from, cottage food laws and food trucks and, so many different types of businesses, so many different processes that they'll need to navigate. And so there's just, we're just really excited to continue this partnership and keep figuring out ways to make sort of any business easy to start in Kansas City.
Awesome. So Linda's tapped in, Katina's still tapped in, Rick Usher, Jay Sparks. If this is the Gabe Munoz that we partnered with on here that hasn't had a social media account in ever.
What?
He just created this account. He had to have just created this Facebook account just to see this presentation. So I just wanted to give Gabe a shout out as well, and Kim Randolph. James, what's your thoughts? Last thoughts?
Working with KC BizCare has just been an amazing collaborative effort, and it really our goals and our values just clearly align, and it's just been an utmost honor, and I'm really excited for what's coming down the pipeline in the future to helping more and more small businesses as we continue.
Awesome. Nia, any last thoughts for the Qwally squad before we transition into the next piece of this conversation?
For any cities who's watching, if you want to know how Kansas City is doing it, Qwally is what's helping us do that. And Qwally is really what they produce for us is really going to help us in succeeding in that goal and becoming the most entrepreneurial city in America. And we can only do that by removing the barriers and make it easy for any resident or anyone to start a business, especially now in COVID-19. So I'm super excited about what we've been able to build with them. Shout out to National League of Cities for introducing the PPP prep program to our city. If it wasn't for Qwally and the technology that they had, we literally put that together in over a weekend. And so for any business that's out there, if you were in existence before February 15, 2020, if you need help with your PPP, you can go to this site, apply for PPP prep. One of our partners, the Heartland Black Chamber or Prospect Business Association, will follow up with you, assist you, hook you up with an accountant, and make sure that your application is ready to go. So that is an amazing thing that we've been able to do out of this. And so hopefully, I think what's next for that is how do we evolve that into a back office support program? Because we do get people asking us a lot about legal, accounting, marketing, bonding. And so how do we turn this into a program that really helps our businesses become capital and contract ready?
Awesome. So as we transition, appreciate you guys, Qwally squad. We will talk to you guys a little later. So as we remove all the Qwally team from the screen, so we're multitasking back here.
We got that.
Hey, we forgot to do our little shout outs, man. We normally do shout outs on our channel. So a couple of shout outs just really quick. Shout out to PlexPod, man.
Yeah.
We're in the PlexPod right now. This is where we broadcasting live from. So if you're not familiar with the PlexPod, look them up. Gerald Smith and team are awesome. Check them out. They're dope. Shout out to the Kauffman Foundation. We're a Kauffman funded organization. Shout out to Chess Inc., our partner organization. Shout out to our families. And you know, we always got to shout out the wives. That's just the thing. Shrine, you got somebody shout out really quick before we transition?
I'd like to give a shout out to all the organizations that are being a part of this. This is amazing. Like, this is actually a game changer. Like, if you are starting your business, this is where you need to go, KC BizCare, and get on there. It's checklist down the line. You don't have to look all over the place like you used to look all over the place. It's right there.
Awesome. Cool. So, Nia, who's up next? What do we got?
Well, we got Emgage up next, and I have my co-host with me, Miss Tamala Handy with the City of Kansas City, and she's going to open up and do the introduction and join us now on stage to get Emgage up and going. Miss Tamala.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself and other members of the Human Relations Department, which I work for, we've had the pleasure of working with KC BizCare to try to be a louder voice and an advocate for entrepreneurship, and also to enhance and expand the ways that we support local businesses. In 2019, Kansas City was one of 10 cities chosen to receive a $500,000 grant from the City Foundation and Living Cities. Those funds were used to pilot innovative strategies being demonstrated today that will generate increased economic opportunities for local businesses owned and operated by people of color. So I'd like to thank City Foundation, Living Cities, and Griffin and Strong for supporting and in many ways mentoring Kansas City in these important efforts, and for orchestrating deep and enriched programming centered around inclusive procurement.
Yep.
Participating in the cohort with the representatives from the other 9 cities allowed us to create a solid network of resources where we could share commonalities, challenges, and lessons learned. Without that assistance, we wouldn't be where we are today, with even bigger plans for more inclusive procurement in the future. I also want to announce that KC BizCare will be featured in the spring issue of the KCMO magazine, and that issue is expected to hit mailboxes next week. The article dives into the evolution of KC BizCare from its launch to where they are today and hope to be in the near future. If you don't live in Kansas City, don't worry, you can still access the magazine online, and it becomes available under the KCMO.gov City Communications page. So now on to the project challenge. A federal study released in 2017 by the Minority Business Development Agency found that the needle has barely moved in terms of boosting minority business participation in public contracts. That area of lack prompted the KC BizCare office to seek equitable back office support, which Nia has talked about, to improve contract readiness by using innovative technology and to provide technical assistance for minority-owned businesses. Kansas City is striving to become the city of entrepreneurs. And as you can see, Nia and I are wearing our t-shirts, City of Entrepreneurs. But it's lacking a key area, which is minority entrepreneurship here. LendingTree released a study that analyzes the 50 largest U.S. metros and the firms that are either wholly owned or equally owned by minorities. The Kansas City Metro ranks 49th, followed by St. Louis for successful minority-owned businesses. Although minority business owners in Missouri run successful enterprises, Many say they continue to face biases and must fight assumptions that minority-owned businesses are inadequate. The City of Kansas City's 2016 disparity study found that minorities and women continue to suffer discriminatory barriers to full and fair access to city contracts. The goal for the project was to build an electronic platform that will allow business owners to submit certification applications for minority, women, disadvantaged, and small local business enterprises, and reduce the time it takes to complete and obtain certification. And ultimately, this will improve opportunities for inclusive procurement with municipal agencies. I'm going to turn things over to Harut Katergian from Emgage, who will now share how he's utilized technology to address this challenge.
All right, Harut, we got you up. I'm going to share your slides here in 1 second, and then the floor will be yours. I just want to point out that Katina asked, where can she get one of those shirts too?
Shout out to Stamina for designing this for us. Once we get the campaign official, we will get shirts out to everybody for sure.
Awesome. All right, we're bringing you in. You got the floor, and I am going to add your slides to the screen. And Harut, we're good to go.
All right. Hey, thank you so much, babe. I appreciate it. Nia, Tamala, thank you for the introductions. And I'm calling dibs on one of those shirts, okay? So I'll be there to pick it up soon. Folks, you should be seeing my screen right now over here, hopefully. This is, as you know, it's a part of the STiR program, the City Innovate program, to increase civic engagement and services. That's really our focus, what we can do to have businesses, citizens, residents all engage with their cities and counties in a very easy and intuitive way. That's the overall arching purpose of us. So I'll go through a quick agenda. I promise I'm not gonna bore you to death with just boring slides. We'll do a quick introduction about Engage, and then we'll jump into our discovery that we conducted at Kansas City and the results from that. And after that, we'll get into our constituent relationship management. Basically, how do you engage with all the constituents of the city, be it businesses, be it residents, be it a homeless population who needs services. And we'll cover that in a big way. And then we'll do a quick demonstration of the minority disadvantaged women-owned business application process that we're building. It is not live yet. There's some technical stuff that needs to be configured with the city, but we'll show you kind of our current environment. And then we'll hop into a quick Q&A. All right, so with that, about Engage. So Engage, we're headquartered over here in beautiful Pasadena, California. We are about 43 people, so we're actually a very fast-growing startup over here, and we are what you'd call in stealth mode. We're just coming out of our stealth mode. We've been secretly developing our technology and our capabilities to help governments and cities. And now we're coming out with the reveal. And then some surprise over here, you are going to be one of the first, actually the first that we've ever shared publicly like this, what makes Engage, kind of the core secret technology aspects of it. So for those of you geeks out there, you're gonna love the next few minutes. All right, so a little bit of trivia over here. Our product is built on an open source core. And for fun, I threw all of the logos out there. So if you can recognize it, you get 2 points for each one. But if not, don't worry about it. I'm gonna cover this quickly and why this is relevant for us or any technology company. So you're looking at over here technologies that we have licensed from Facebook, from Google. So technologies like React, TensorFlow for machine learning, technologies like Airflow from Airbnb. These are all household names, and the list goes on. Kubernetes and Kafka. So all of this stuff that are incredibly rich technologies that are being developed in Silicon Valley, my home state over here, and that's about $20 billion worth of technology that is available for free, but it is inaccessible to most entrepreneurs and governments because you need to be, first of all, either in Silicon Valley or hire Silicon Valley developers of about $400,000 or $500,000 a year to take advantage of this. So our secret sauce is to bring all this amazing technology by layering our what we call our orchestration engine on top. And we have spent years developing that. And we don't have to get into this amazing stack over here. But if you're a geek, I'd be happy to like talk to you later if you want more details. But it basically enables all these technologies to be available for somebody sitting at the browser wanting to have be it a business application solution or be it an entrepreneurial solution that they want to create. So what does it do? It's basically Silicon Valley technology for government and entrepreneurs. It's Cameron was saying in the beginning, being nimble is key. Doing this challenge-based acquisition is a really, really good approach. I mean, we created proposals before, and I have actually one sitting over here next to me. That's over 200 pages that we have to submit, and they're a pain in the gluteus maximus. So the nimble approach, challenge-based approach is really a great fit for us because we love it and we can address their needs quickly. Rapid deployment and iteration is much more important than 200-page RFP. The other benefits are cost reduction. Because of our investment in our technology, we can have up to 10 times reduction in costs. And other neat things, our technology actually has been so impressive and so helpful for businesses and governments is that we're actually working with the NSF, National Science Foundation, for a research grant up to $1.5 million to help us further this and get this out to businesses and governments quickly. But most importantly, my favorite over here is the last one over here, is democratizing technology for underrepresented entrepreneurs. People who have amazing ideas and have deep understanding of business, but they don't have access to capital, to resources, technology, because they've traditionally been underrepresented in this space. You want to bring these technologies to them. It's a tool, empowering tool that allows them to build solutions that really address their needs. All right, so I'll give you what we've been doing secretly last 3 years, a quick snapshot of some of our customers. Anyone from San Francisco, Air Force, to City of Berkeley, multiple cities, counties, and as well as in the education sector. It looks like Alabama was mentioned a few times, Mobile, Alabama, but we work with the Department of Education in Alabama. So we work with a lot of government, education, universities, and also enterprises, large enterprises like household names like Adobe, Stars Entertainment, or Patagonia. And because what's good for government and what's good for small businesses is also good for large enterprise, and they recognize that. All right, with that, we're gonna jump right into the discovery at Kansas City. So this is our process of service that we offer as part of the STiR Challenge program. What we did is we basically came in and interviewed 18 city stakeholders across multiple departments, including Tamala and Nia. And we also engaged with and interviewed 58 small businesses in Kansas City to understand what are some of the key challenges in engaging with the city. And you believe it or not, we came up with 120. It's actually small. I would happily go through that big list for you, but we're going to focus on some of the key solutions that we created. We created a bunch of solutions that could address those challenges, at least what we call solution cards. And the businesses and the city stakeholders, they all voted on what's important to them. So what you're about to see is what we call the top 3 solutions that addresses most of those challenges. First and foremost, on top of the list was the mobile business certification solution. So if you've tried to engage with the city and fill out this long, prolonged process of going through an application process that Tamala can testify to, is incredibly burdensome, both for the entrepreneurs' businesses, as well as for HRD staff. HRD staff has completely shrunk. I think it's about a quarter of the size it used to be. So it's a mobile, intuitive solution to engage with the city to be able to complete the process very, very quickly, because there's a lot of time, a lot of back and forth. And what you're looking at over here is basically the description of the solution, the number of challenges from our interviews that this would address. So out of 120, this would address basically 1/3 of them. And the businesses and the departments within the city that actually spoke up and says, we need something like this. The next one, that's not quite 42, but actually you can see it drops very quickly from 42 to 14, is the Opportunity Explorer. A solution so where businesses can go find pre-offer or even current solicitations, to be able to search deeply within those documents, those explored opportunities that are being posted, RFPs being posted, to find both subcontract and primary contract opportunities. And to being able to engage quickly with subcontractors, being able to then provide early stage bidding. And these are some of the folks who spoke up across the board within the city. Some of these names you might recognize yourself on the list over here. Precise Operations Management, Agree Design, or Vision 5, KC Cajun, SNS, Engineering, CJR, Construction Group. Those are all the businesses that spoke up to say, we need something like this. Next on the list, the third on the list, is Contract Utilization and Collaboration Solution. At the end, it's still government, right? There's a lot of paperwork involved. So once you start a contract, one of the biggest issues, the top 3 issues, was being able to fulfill the contract requirements, both for having minority engagement to subcontract requirements. There's quite a lot. Being able to interact with a prime and a subcontractor, all the day-to-day operations that nobody wants to deal with, but takes up a lot of time and is a significant burden on businesses to be able to automate that. So we started, and then COVID hit after we completed this, so there's a lot of the funding was reduced. So we decided, okay, well, given all this big things we want to do, what is one thing, the low-hanging fruit that we can tackle? And one thing that we arrived with is basically the business application process for minority-based businesses or disadvantaged or women-owned businesses. And that's what we built, and that's what we'll be demoing. But before I get there, I do want to show you kind of the overall, the umbrella of what the solution falls under. It falls under our constituent relationship management solution, which is a comprehensive end-to-end civic engagement and services solution. What are some of the capabilities of it? So there's quite a lot. So it's omni-channel communication. It also has ability to do business application and permits management, events and appointments managing. So if you want to do citywide events, you want to manage the health department services, so either homeless housing placement services along with healthcare providers. You want to manage your parks and recreation, so maybe booking parks or gazebos. You want to manage grant and program administration, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act requests, or as it's known in Kansas City, Sunshine Laws, requests for information, or in California, Brown Act. Customer service and resolution. So somebody walking down the street finds a pothole or a broken lamp, pull up the app, report a broken lamp, and have a ticket put in and route it to the correct department for services, and then have the resident notified that, hey, that the pothole has been fixed, a light has been replaced. Project portfolio management, analytics. Again, at the end, collecting all this data, what is it? It's not significant unless you can analyze it. And last but not least, payments and document signature capabilities. Of course, all of the paperwork a lot of times requires signature. Being able to collect signatures is key, and being able to even collect payments for permits or other fees, to be able to do it quickly and securely online is important. So this is kind of the umbrella, and we'll show you some sample screenshots of the CRM just to see what are some of its capabilities instead of this boring slide text over here. So this is an example, right? Nicely visually represented information across for the city departments and divisions to collaborate, to see their project, their status, to be able to even interact. So you can see there's messages that are happening either with internal users or with businesses or constituents. You can have a live conversation instead of having to pick up a phone or send an email and then wait a month and then get an email back and then connect it back. You can actually communicate over here, which will send them either a text or email message, whichever method that a business wants to be communicated with. It could be done all within the application here. Data visualization example. This is an example of some of our COVID-19 case count studies by county or the top 25. You can do heat maps. Again, the data is available. If you have the data, we can actually connect to it. A common user without any technical skills, can develop reports like this. Or visualizing the data across your city, applying it over a map. You can see this is some example of different data visualization. You can do heat maps, route maps, spike maps, all these things that can be overlaid right on top of your city map, so you can see how it is being utilized. Again, we licensed this technology from Airbnb, and we built on top of it and made it incredibly effective and efficient to use. This is an example of kind of where we're headed with the city, to be able to access all the services right from the city's website, be it a business application, a permit, a food license, whatever it is that wants to be built could be added and automatically appears over here. A business owner or a resident can log in and interact with the city in one place, either on a mobile device or right on their desktop application. Again, here's a quick example for KC. This is the business certification application that we're in the process of building. You can go through, if there's any payment fees, you can apply them. But what's important over here is you can see visually where you're at in the process at any given moment, and when it will end. You can actually interact, you can complete the information over here, and we'll do a very quick demo of the first stage of this process for you to see how that works. As I mentioned, signatures. Most documents a lot of times require signatures, so you can make the contracts legal, make the agreements legal. You don't want to start online and complete the paperwork and then have to drive into City Hall, stand in line, make an appointment so you can sign documents. This will allow you to do all of it online in a few simple clicks. There's a few other examples over here. This is from City of Berkeley, being able to build directories of people you can access. But again, really the limit is what you're trying to accomplish. There is no technical limitations here. Approval processes, going through in this case is an adolescent trauma. This is a healthcare system for one of our clients. Being able to approve the casework and proceed to the next stage is very important. Invitation. So let's say you start off the business application process and you want to invite your partner, your business to engage with you. You can just simply type in the email address and it will invite them, automatically create an account for them, and you can start engaging with them directly through chat or through completing the application all in one space. All right, messaging. This is kind of getting carried away. You can send messages over here, push notifications, email delivery, you can distribute, but most importantly, track the engagement, right? See how many text messages were delivered, who's opening them, is it being delivered, is it bouncing, are people acknowledging? You can request that people provide acknowledgements. Are email being delivered? This tells you if you're actually able to engage with your constituents versus just spamming them and hoping that it's getting the message through. And last but not least, mobile, right? Mobile is a key driver. Nobody has a desktop computer anymore. These little suckers over here are getting more powerful by the minute. So being able to offer the services, be it events, be it permitting, or anything you want to do, being able to click with one click and schedule a session right there on your mobile device is very, very important. All right, now let's kind of hop in very quickly. I know we're definitely out of time over here, but I'll promise I won't spend too much time on the demo so we can actually get to Q&A. All right, so this is the vendor application form I just loaded. It's on my desktop, but of course this is accessible on your mobile device. If you open this up, it will very quickly adjust to your screen size. This hasn't been deployed, so the branding hasn't been applied yet. You can see this is our kind of the staging site. But what's important is as soon as the this application could be triggered either by the business itself, or somebody from their particular department can initiate the process. So you can actually type in the name, and this has actually built-in search. So all of the members of the city will automatically, the names will come up. You can select it over here, and then it'll apply who it is that is applying for it and whatever department they're applying it from. All right. And my data is limited here, but you can also either, if you have the vendor already who's registered as a supplier, you can type in their name. But if not, you can actually also type in their email address, and it will invite them directly. So you don't have to actually go through the sending them a link, creating an application, sending them a link, making sure it's secure. All of that can happen just simply by typing in their email and sending them an invite. Other key pieces of this is having the form actually be responsive and intuitive, so you don't have to guess and not trying to understand what the form means. So for example, ACH payment. ACH payments are preferred for the city, so it's by default it's turned on, and it tells you, hey, complete this vendor ACH application and sign it and attach it. But if you don't prefer ACH, you want to do manual, it automatically prompts you, hey, do you want to use the same address? Yes, I'll use the same address. Or if you want to provide a separate address for payments, you can provide it. So it responds dynamically. And you can see over here, if I say, no, I want to keep it ACH, it'll actually update the fields, the information down here of what you need to attach to this form, including a W-9 and ACH voucher, like a basically canceled check. So the list, having the form be responsive is also important in providing NIGP or NICS codes. Now, if any of you have done business and filled this out, you know how much of a nightmare it is, right? NIGP codes tells the city what type of business you are, but pulling up that list of 10,000 NIGP codes and trying to find yours in there could be a time-consuming nightmare. In our situation, you just simply start typing what business you are, right? Let's say if you know your code, just go ahead, type your code, and you can see it quickly searches and brings up the responses. Or if you know what type of business you are, let's say you're in a adhesives business, right? Just start typing adhesives, or you're providing tumbling services. So as soon as you type a single letter, it automatically pulls it up. You can select it and keep going if you want to type in more. But again, making it very intuitive for users to be able to enter information with minimal effort. And then turn on the flag if it's a minority business, check what you apply, and then the system will automatically adapt and ask you the information for that particular things that you've enabled. Last and not least, once you upload your documents and submit, sign and submit, this will then go to the next process for procurement review and purchasing review, and then approved or denied. All in the while you seeing exactly where you are in the process, and you can interact with either the procurement department, the purchasing department, or your own sponsoring department, all in this single application without having to pick up a phone. All right, with that, I think now we're kind of coming up towards the end over here. I'll go ahead and turn this over to our folks over here for a Q&A session.
Awesome, Harut. We appreciate that. So I'm gonna do the same thing for you. I'm gonna leave up this slide really quick so folks that are interested in reaching out to you, we can make sure that they get your contact information. So I'm gonna let it sit there for a second. And all right, well, there you go. Harut, appreciate it. We got Nia back. Nia, what you think?
So Harut has been very helpful in the work that me and Tamala have been doing around inclusive procurement. Tamala was my partner with Living Cities for the City Accelerator. Like she said, we were one of 10 cities selected. That was a grant I chased maybe just a few months into my role. And, with her help and with the help that Harut's been doing through that discovery session and the technology he's presenting, it's really going to help us if we can get buy-in, of course, for our city council and our departments to implement a lot of this technology. Because I love the fact that both startups presented something that was mobile friendly. And again, we don't want to create a bigger digital divide. And we do understand a lot of our entrepreneurs, he's right, they're not operating at their desk, they're operating from their phone or while they're out and about. And so having that capability is what's going to help, again, remove that barrier or that red tape and allow our businesses to get better access. So we're totally excited about what Harut's been able to bring to the table.
Also, so I have one question, Harut, and folks that are watching, if you have questions, throw them in the comment section.
Yeah.
Because we are definitely open to the Q&A. And here in a second, we're going to bring Matt, Chris, and James back on too, just to kind of round out in the conversation today. But before we get to them, I just wanted to throw out a security question. I know a lot of cities might be interested in what you're talking about and all the information and technology that you can provide. But what, if you can mention a couple of security measures or parameters, again, from a language perspective, I don't know exactly, how to word this, but how are we keeping people safe, community safe, city safe, and the information that's being shared?
Yeah, security is paramount. It's I'll throw some of the fancy acronyms at you. FERPA, ISO 27000, NIST 502 compliance. Those are all things that we comply with to make sure that it's secure and validated. Even a HIPAA compliance, so you can actually store HIPAA information in there. But kind of down at just the everyday usage, it is a nightmare to have your information breached. We have multiple people dedicated to security. I just got a report last week that they're telling me, look, Harut, there's like 1,000 people trying to hack our system at any given day. Let me think about that. We know that because we're monitoring it, and we have security monitoring and eventing systems. We invest a lot of money on preventing intrusions and stopping them, encrypting the data. But that is paramount, right? We know we're not the only ones who's getting thousands of attacks a day. You're getting it, you're just not aware of it, right? And most of them are probably succeeding, and you're not even aware. So again, investing in technology is a big thing. We have multiple people, 3 to 4 people dedicated. That's all they do all day. What's known as security operations. And we also have a lot of technology that's dedicated to finding zero-day events that could happen that are not predictable easily. So it's very important that you invest in technology in addition to the user-friendliness. So the businesses know that they can come in and engage with you, but also they can trust you that the information is secure. It's interesting, when we engage, we conducted interviews with Mia and Temela with businesses. People said, I don't want to use it because it's going to get my information might get stolen. So it's a genuine concern for folks out there.
Yeah,
absolutely. I appreciate that, Harut. So really quick, I'm going to bring back, if this is okay, Nia, I'm going to bring back Matt and Chris to kind of round out this discussion. A lot of good information from you all. I feel like this was a great demo day. I don't know. I mean, I've been, been to a few.
I'm so happy.
Awesome. Yeah. So I guess before we kind of round out, I didn't see any questions in the comment section. So
if you want, I can give a couple more comments about. I want to make sure it's clear that the discovery session that Harut did. And the information that he was able to pull from and the recommendations were actually shared as a part of our small business agenda. And that was presented to my boss, Rick Usher, who's the Assistant City Manager for Small Business and Entrepreneurship, and our city manager, our new city manager, Brian Platt, who were very receptive to the recommendations. One of the bigger things that I've learned from working on the other side before coming to the city, working for a small business and working with the city around procurement, was that it was really hard to know what was coming up what to expect, and how do we expect our small business to prepare for a contract opportunity if they don't know when it's coming or what they need to get ready for or who they need to particularly partner with. So through the Living Cities City Accelerator, we learned more about what other cities were doing, like Chicago and the city of Memphis. Shout out to them. Who were doing these forecasting guides or these small business guides, and they were highlighting projects that were to come and projects that had participation for minority women businesses. And Kansas City is unique where we have a small local business program. So I want to make sure I educate people about that. When we were doing our small business listening tour, there were a lot of people who didn't know or didn't think about doing business with the city. The city can be your biggest client. And as a small business, it's one of the fastest way you can grow. Here are two examples of that. And Harut is one big example of that because they grew significantly in COVID-19 during this time. So Harut wasn't that big when we started, and now look where he's gotten to go with that. And so just want to encourage people that doing business with the city, procuring with the city is another way to really support your business. And I'm trying to do my best to figure out how we use our buying dollars to, our buying power to really grow our small businesses.
I love that. So before we end, I want to get Chris, Matt, Harut's last thoughts from this demo day, from the presentation, and maybe just maybe a couple words on the relationship that you guys have been able to build with KC BizCare, with Nia, and the city of Kansas City, and Tamla as well. But before I get those last comments, I just want to reiterate, another person in the comments said, Landon Parker,
hey, Landon,
said, great results from Innovate KC. Love seeing all the work that KC BizCare has been doing. And he said also, I think I need a hoodie too.
I promised my interns, because Landon was an intern. I had 4 of them. Okay. I promised them a hoodie. Okay. I will get the hoodies when we get the hoodies. I promise.
Okay. Just got to throw that out there. So let's get our if Chris, you want to start us off, then Matt and Harut round us out.
I'll just say quickly that just kind of bringing it full circle to kind of what we were talking about at the beginning with sort of Cameron's thoughts on sort of what the promise of challenge-based procurement really is. I think, between sort of the work that sort of the city of Kansas City has done with Emgage and with us, the partnerships we've formed and the way we've been able to really focus on solving problems and really focusing on outcomes, not just kind of, technology solution for a solution's sake, is really positive and really beneficial. It's just something great to see. So, Matt, you got any other closing thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's a great summary. It's been really amazing for us. Just the amount of folks who have interacted with our platform, that feedback has really let us, grow and develop in a way that we never could have anticipated. And it's definitely, I will say, as a startup, Kansas City is a really special place, and the degree to which we've been embraced by the community here, it's been incredible. So big shout out to Kansas City and to Nia and Tamla in particular for really making us feel super welcome. The only one drawback is no hoodie. It's been a while. I'm wearing a collared shirt right now. I feel embarrassed. So
can we get another hoodie? You got a list?
But no, it's been amazing. So thank you.
Awesome. Harut?
Yes, I want to first of all send kudos to Nia. Her dedication and involvement with the BizCare, it has been unmatched. Once just to share the story of once COVID hit, we were engaged with multiple cities and counties across the country with the STiR program, but most of them said, you know what, this is too hard. We gotta bunker down. We gotta shut everything down. And they all took their balls and went home. But Nia stuck through it, right? Nia with BizCare really, and Tamla, and then all of the city folks over here just engaged at all levels and did not give up, even though the funding dried up. We were even willing to work with minimal funding. Nia was able to push through and see this come to fruition because she is so dedicated to KC. So thank you so much. KC businesses and to Nia for your desire to push things forward.
Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Harut. All right. So Tamla, got some closing thoughts?
I just wanted to say to Qwally and to Emgage, I've enjoyed working with you. My involvement has mainly been on the communication side, getting the word out about the awesome work that both of these two companies have done. So I've enjoyed that. And also as a city employee, I get joy out of seeing the needle moving forward and to be able to be the voice that helps to get the word out. So thank you all. Congratulations for the work that you've done. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with you and as well as with Nia.
Thank you. Couple of shout outs I want to give since you guys gave your shout outs.
You got it.
So, like Haroon said, a lot of cities were drying up of money, and I want to give a shout out to Living Cities and the City Foundation. If it were not for their grant, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing today, and these two companies would not have had the opportunity to actually contract with the city. So they started off just kind of being in a residency and were, volunteering their time, and now those things have actually turned into contracts with the city. And it's something that probably would have never happened if not for the grant through Living Cities and the City Foundation. So we appreciate them. Also, I want to give a shout out to the City Council and all those who participated in our Small Business Big Voice Listening Tour in partnership with AllCap. We just wrapped up our last one for the 3rd District. So shout out to Councilman Ellington. He had a great turnout for his. We got a lot of feedback. Again, you can do the survey through the site that Qwally built for us at BizCare, KCMO.gov. Also, definitely want to give a shout out and welcome to our new city manager, Brian Platt. He's actually been very supportive of the work that we've been doing and doing everything that he can to figure out what more do we need and how he can be very supportive of our small businesses. So I definitely want to recognize that he's here and he's working for small businesses. So shout out to him. Also, shout out to my boss, Rick Usher. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have had this opportunity. You probably wouldn't see a lot of what you're seeing today. And so I really appreciate him opening the door for me and giving me the opportunity to be with the city. But I can't give a shout out to Rick without giving a shout out to my parents, particularly my father, who I worked for before getting recruited to the city. So I want to give a shout out to Ajamu and Kendra Webster for making me, raising me, and getting me prepared for this opportunity today. And so just make sure I want to give a shout out to all those folks and my whole village that really helped support me to get here today. So really appreciate that.
I love it. I love it. So normally we would go out, we got like videos and all this other good stuff. And I'm going to take the blame for it because I didn't get it uploaded. Sharon put a lot of time and effort into our extra videos, if that's what you can call it. But so, this is going to be an abrupt end to this great conversation. But
I would just like to say thank you all. Thank you, Nia, for this. Thank you guys for doing this for the Porterhouse KC and entrepreneurs of Kansas City, because we really needed something like this, and we are looking forward for our cohorts and our classes to use this site for everything. So thank you. I appreciate it. And any last words from you?
Yeah, the last piece is I just appreciate we used Kansas City appropriately in this whole so I appreciate that.
Shout out to Cameron for getting it.
There you go.
Can we see? Is that acceptable, or that's for Kansas City?
KC is acceptable. Very acceptable.
Awesome. All right, people. So again, we appreciate you all for joining us. Porterhouse KC partnership with KC BizCare. This is a demo day, and this is phenomenal. Yeah. Hopefully, some of our viewers were able to kind of get some ideas and are going to connect with some of the couple of business owners that we were able to highlight in this session. And again, use the platform, test it out, make it explode, because if it does explode, then give us an opportunity to make it better. So
hire some more people,
So again, appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your day and into the weekend. Have great weekends, and holla.
Wow.